Hello everyone, this is Stacy with Quantum Artistic, and today I'm going to revamp my tutorial on how to make paper flames. I wouldn't really call it a quilling technique necessarily, it's more like just a paper folding technique. And I want to make it clear that I didn't develop this technique myself. I tweaked a technique that I found in a book called, I believe, Paper Quilling Chinese Style, and I'll try to link that book at least in the blog post that appears after I've published this video. So I'm going to just go ahead and get right into it so that this doesn't become boring. So to make paper flames, I prefer to use the, of course, as usual, 1/4 inch quilling strips. 1/4 inch paper has just a nice depth to it. It creates really beautiful shadowing, and I just like working with it better. You're going to want glue. This is a regular Elmer's glue that I have transferred into this needle nose glue bottle. A quilling tool, any will work, and a pair of tweezers and scissors. It's pretty much all you need. It's not a real difficult technique. It just takes a little bit of practice. And I do tend to use the tweezers more than anything during this procedure. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. So I'm gonna give you some tips on measuring, but the standard quilling strips are roughly 17 to 17.5 inches long. And when I do my measurements, I typically will measure them in fractions. So this is a full strip, and then this, fold it in two and cut it. This is like a half strip, so it's roughly like 8 or so inches long. And then 1/4 strips would be the half strip cut in two, which would be the equivalent of 1/4 of the entire strip. And they're roughly 4.5 inches long. And then so on and so forth. You just keep cutting them in halves and getting a smaller and smaller measurement. So I'm not going to make any flames with the full piece of paper because they're just really big and they're going to be kind of gaudy looking, but you can make these very large if you have the space to fill. I'm going to go ahead and start off making them with the 1/4 strips, and that way they're a little bit more manageable and easier to work with. So first of all, you want 2 strips. You want 2 colors that kind of either contrast or highlight each other. In this case, I'm using a Sunset from Quilled Creations, and I believe Mustard Imposter from Little Circles, but pretty much any contrasting colors will do. I'll bring this up closer to the camera, and of course I have my ISO turned up real high, so you really can't see the, let me see if I can turn it down here. Let's see. Yeah, it's not letting me. Anyways, this is a lot brighter in person. The lighting in here is bad, so I have to really crank it up. But anyways, these are 2 colors that kind of complement each other. One is brighter than the other, so it'll give a, let's see if I can turn that light up. There, is that better? That's a little bit better. Okay, so to start making the paper flame, you need to place your strips together. Okay, and you're going to determine which color is on the inside of the flame and which is going to be on the outside. All right, so what you want to do is just kind of put them together and just kind of give it a little bit of a curl so they're easier to bend. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep these ends butted up together, and you can glue them if you want to make it a little bit easier so they're not shifting. So just put a little bit of glue there. Bring both pieces to the end, glue them up like that. See, it's glued, and that's holding them together. And you're going to make a shape that I call the mitten. Okay, so to start making your quilled flame shape, what you're going to do is you're going to take 2 of the 2 strips, put them together, glue them off at the end. It works better when you've got strips, or it looks better when you've got strips that have different in color. So in this case, it's like a bright orange and a yellow. You can do pink and purple, blue and green, who cares? But the point is that the bigger the difference in the color between the two, the kind of more obvious it is. So you've glued your two strips together. In this case, these are quarter length strips, and that way they're not going to move. And what you're going to do is give your strips a little bit of a curl, just gently curl them so that it moves better for you. And you're going to fold a loop to about the halfway mark here. Let me get this in the camera. There you go. And you're just going to kind of, you can, at this point, you can give it a little tack of glue if you want, right along there to kind of hold it in place. And then you're going to make sure that the ends are level at the end over here. In that case, I just want to butt them up. And you're going to make a second loop here. And you're going to butt it up directly into that crevice. Fold it over, and you've got a mitten shape. Now, what I like to do is figure out which side, whoopsie, I dropped it, which side you're going to glue it down on. And I'll tend to give it a little bit of glue up in here just to hold everything all together nicely. I'm going to give it a little pinch just to let that glue dry. I think I need to move that because my camera keeps focusing on it. There you go. See, it's like a mitten. Once you've got the mitten shape, you need to, whoo, they're very springy. Once you've got the mitten shape, you need to reshape it. And for that, I like to use my tweezers or even the end of my quilling tool. What the point would be to have a hard, straight, thin surface. And what you do is you hold your mitten like this. I don't know why this camera does not like to focus. And you're going to insert your loop on the inside of the large loop, and you're going to kind of pull against it like that. And it's going to kind of bend it around, and that makes a curve in the center area. And then you're going to pinch the end, and you're going to roll it around your quilling tool to make it kind of flare up, a lot like a flame. Then you're going to come out here, and you're going to kind of pinch on the interior portion of that, and voila, you have a flame shape. And it's all one unit. And the beauty of this, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. The beauty of this is that the interior is a different color than the exterior. And see how it has that nice contrast between the colors, which is very reminiscent of flames. All right, every flame is going to come out slightly different, so let's go ahead and build another flame. So here I've got a strip all ready to go. I'm just going to repeat this because I think repetition helps solidify things. Again, you're going to give your two strips a little bit of a curl. Not like really potential, but just enough to give it a bend to help get this around the corner. I'm going to go ahead here, and you're going to pinch roughly in the middle. How much you leave on this tail end determines how big the little flame is. So if you want the little flame bigger, you're going to want to pinch this up a little bit further and not at the half mark, maybe a little bit before the half. Again, make sure that your ends are all nice and level, and go in here and put a little bit of glue on this just to hold stuff in place. And if you want, you can even lift it up and get some glue underneath there, like that. Okay, now you're going to take the tail end and you're going to flip it down into that trough that you made, and you're going to create a mitten. Pinch it to hold the glue together because it just stuck some glue in there, and you want this all to kind of stay together for the next part. And if you get any glue boogers like I just did, just kind of wipe them off. Or you can go with a paintbrush later on and remove it. All right, so there it is. This one, the orange is on the outside. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and do the curling. So I'm gonna grab my quilling tool, which works really good for this, and I'm going to pinch the bottom. I'm gonna come in here and give just this little bit of curl in the center of the large loop. And then I'm going to pinch the top and then roll it around my quilling tool just to give it that nice flame shape. I'm gonna flip it over and then come in here and curl the center of the little flame, and if you want, you can kind of pinch that to a nice point as well, and then you end up with a flame shape there. And here are the two that we've created, and you can see that they kind of go really nicely together. They're kind of like, they work like, why won't this focus? They kind of go like building blocks. You can add them all together. There you go. And they work nicer if you kind of stack them all up like that. You can keep creating them. These are half length strips. I'm gonna go ahead and make a big one just so you can see how that works, or how it looks when there's bigger ones. The bigger ones tend to be a little bit thinner and more narrow and not quite as full bodied. The smaller they get, the kind of thicker the flame is. Again, I'm gonna go ahead in here and glue the ends together like that. I'm going to move these. I'm going to go ahead and give my strips a little bit of curl, just gently. I'm going to go ahead and make my main loop here just before the halfway mark. I'm going to glue it down. I'm going to put a strip of glue right here, and then I'm going to kind of bring this loop over the glue so it gets on top and on bottom. And the reason being is because I want to catch a little more of this glue with the tail end that I'm going to pop back up there in a second. I'm going to make sure that these two tail ends are the same length, so I'm just going to snip them together, and that way they're the same length. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this right up into the trough here, pinch it, and create a mitten shape. So here's my mitten, and you see that this is a nice big thumb on the mitten here. Okay, I'm gonna go out here and get my quilling tool, go into the central area of the big loop, give it a nice bend like that. I'm gonna get that bent there. And we're gonna go ahead and pinch the end. I'm gonna roll it around this just to give it a real, let's see if I can't get that sharper. There we go. Get it as sharp as we can. You can kind of mess with it too. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the little mitten loop. We're gonna create a gap there. And I'm just going to grab the end, pinch it, and then roll it around my tool here so that it gets a little bit sharper. And there is my big flame. Now you can go in and play with these. You can make these tighter or whatever. You can take your tweezers actually, and you can bend it around like this to give it a real sharp point. Or you can come in here like this and just grab the very end and then just roll it with the tweezers. Of course, this is not focusing, but like that. See how that gives it a really nice end twist. You can go back and tweak these too. You can tweak the littler ones. You can just do that nice sharp bend on that. You can go ahead and grab this, bend that one. See how nice these look when stacked together? You can really build a flame starting with the base and then work up, and this one actually had a pretty good end twist on it too, but we'll go ahead and bend it just in case here. Just to make them all consistent. Do that. And then you can take this one and you can stick it like that. See how you can build flames starting from the base up. I'm gonna see if I can't bring this up closer to you so you can kind of get a better sense of how they all fit together. Hold on just a second. Let me get my workboard here. You can go ahead and you can just keep building them up. So you'd want to put another bigger one over here, and then you could put one here. You just kind of stagger them. But they all look pretty nice together, and they're very, very simple. That's pretty much all there is to it. I like to keep them at least the quarter strip or smaller, because the more compact they are, I think the better they look. And the nice thing is, because they all have a different look when you're done with them, you don't end up with the same exact pattern every single time. It's a nice it's an organic shape, and it just looks really nice. You can make hair with this, you can make feathers with this, there's a lot of applications for this. It even makes really, really nice like skies. You can do like sunset skies with this and it comes out beautiful. So anyways, that's pretty much all there is for making paper flames. Definitely trying to keep these videos under 15 minutes because my upload speed is very slow here in Maine. Stay tuned for more videos this summer. I'm going to be trying to remake all of my old videos and, you know, create some new content as well. So visit my website at www.quantumartistic.com. And follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/quantumartistic. So until we meet again, I will see you very soon. Thanks so much.